It's called Tomorrow's Headlines Today. We head into March Madness. I can't wait for this. What is the headline for the first big upset?
Okay, so they came to me. They were like, J-Mac, let's do some upsets.
Okay.
So listen, it's tough. Upsets are tough. Okay, you got to pick some. You got to lie down with some dogs and get some possible fleas. So, Colin, I'm looking at Purdue and High Point. And I know you know a lot about High Point.
Yeah.
Panthers, very strong team. The headline will be don't do drugs. Boilermakers get smoked by High Point. Now, listen, Purdue obviously had a great season last year with Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Went all the way to the national championship, lost, obviously.
Yeah.
There is some regression that they've struggled with this year. They have lost 6 of 8 coming into the tournament.
Yes.
And, Colin, they've really got one guy, Braden Smith, who's awesome. There is a lot of chatter on the Purdue message boards. I have some friends who check it. Braden Smith, they're talking he may enter the portal and leave. So there is some potential upheaval in the program. I think High Point can take advantage. They're a good offensive team. Purdue's defense has just been not good this year. They missed the rim protector, Edey. Listen, High Point's only an 8-point dog, which seems like a small number, right? Against Purdue. So I'm on High Point money line and with the points. I think they surprise Purdue.
I like that. I like where we're going. Tomorrow's headlines today, the second major upset.
Now, these guys pulled a big upset last year. They took down Auburn. People were shocked. That ruined a lot of brackets. It was either on day 1 or day 2. But the Yale...
yes.
Bulldogs, I think. Yale Bulldogs, yes. They are playing a tough opponent. The headline will be Revenge of the Nerds. Yale closes book on Aggies.
Wow.
Texas A&M. Now, listen, this is an SEC team. They have lost 5 of 7. One of the trends I look for is how are you playing heading into the tournament? That can be a predictor of success or failure. Texas A&M struggling a lot. And, Colin, this Yale team matches up great. Texas A&M cannot shoot threes at all. 317th in the country. Yale's 9th. Now, Yale would have to catch fire, but they're a great rebounding team. Texas A&M #1 on the offensive glass. Again, this is one of these matchups where it's like, hey, man, we played in the SEC. We're not afraid of anybody. We can take on anything. Yale, man, this is a very good, smart, fundamentally sound, nerdy team, if you will. They shoot the three well. If they can hit the glass, I think Yale pulls the upset of Texas A&M.
That is exciting. Yeah, the Yaleys have been Harvard football and Yale and Princeton
and remember,
basketball.
From Ivy, Princeton has pulled some big upsets.
No.
Princeton, Yale, they unlike some other conferences, they actually show up in March.
Well, if you can shoot the ball today and Yale can,
don't turn it over.
BYU can, shoot the ball, don't turn it over, you can play with teams. All right, tomorrow's headlines today. Now the third tournament upset.
Now, listen, I'm sure Seinfeld fans will remember, I love the Drake. Remember the Drake's Coffee Cakes, obviously?
Yeah.
And this Drake team is fun. They got a new coach. He brought in all these Division II players from his old school, and it's like, what's their story? They've been awesome this season. Can they keep it going? The headline will be Drizzy Draked. Bulldogs turn Tigers off at halftime. Another SEC team I have going down, Missouri. Listen, again, they've been a very good team this year. And I know, Jason, you're picking on the SEC. Well, they got 14 teams.
No, they're going to have a couple teams.
Somebody's got to lose.
Yeah.
And this Drake team, they're a great story. Now, I had Fran Fraschilla on my podcast. You know him from your other job. He knows the sport well, and he's like, Jason, just be careful, man. Drake overachieved all season. They got a bunch of D2 guys.
Fran's an encyclopedia for this
He's amazing. And, you know, they have overachieved to a point, but they got this point guard, Bennett Sturts. He's a great story. The whole team, they took down Kansas State in a major shocker earlier this year. And again, everything has to go right to pull the upset. But, Colin, you know the history of March Madness. These games start in the middle of the day often, right? They're in unfamiliar arenas.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there, midweek travel. And the underdogs can play that card. Like, hey, man, nobody believes in us. We're a bunch of Division II players. We're going to shock the world. And they pull the upset. I like Drake.
Yeah, sometimes you get these big favorites playing in an empty arena, and they have no energy, no juice. Tomorrow's headlines today. How about the fourth upset?
Now, listen, I had hyped this last week, and over the weekend, they won their conference tournament, and everybody got on board. You have mocked me soundly multiple days since I talked about Michigan being in trouble against the UC San Diego Tritons. Look at the look on his face. America's like, Cowherd's sick of this. The headline will be Mason blew it. Michigan sinks under Triton tsunami.
They can shoot.
Hell of a headline. Listen, man, this team, if you just look at who plays the hardest in the country, I think they've got to be top 5. I'm telling you, man, this team, a bunch of scrappy D2 and D3 players are emerging as we can hang with these guys. Now, they play in a conference. UC Irvine's pretty good. They took them down. Michigan does have 2 7-footers, Colin, which makes me a little
Michigan
nervous.
is big.
But big doesn't win in March. What wins in March?
Guard play.
Guard play. You know this. You follow forever. And I'm just telling you, this team, you just look at how they shoot it. They're unafraid to just let her rip from deep. Great three-point shooting team. They play the no-middle defense. Again, I know you coached your kids in sports probably a little bit. You might have been too famous.
Yeah, I know the no-middle defense.
Yeah, you just pack it in. No layups. We'll give you all the shots you want. And Michigan does not shoot it well. Remember, they needed a buzzer shot by the kid.
No, I watched Michigan State well. Those are not teams that shoot the three.
They just don't shoot the three well. They want to go one-on-one, ISO, off the dribble. I like UC San Diego. Line's coming my way. It's a popular pick, maybe too popular at this point, but I'm pot committed.
By the way, this is not a headline. Oklahoma or UConn? Who are you taking?
I got Oklahoma.
So do I, yeah. Tomorrow's headlines thing. Now, we have 4 upsets. How about a 4 sure headline?
So, we got the big Calcutta tonight. I've been told by our team we cannot talk. Jason, don't talk about it on air. We don't need to put anything out there. But we all agree. Everybody knows. Duke's the best team in the country, Colin. The headline will be Duke Mom, no hands. Blue Devils cruise to Final Four. Colin, I've gone through the bracket all week. I don't see who's touching Duke.
They're very young
in this bracket. I know, but
Arizona.
We're in an NIL era, right, where you got 24, 25-year-old kids against Cooper Flagg.
Yes.
Bro, Cooper Flagg played against Auburn, beat them. Now it was at home. They faced Illinois. They smoked them by 30. They've played a lot of top competition. I know the ACC's down. But again, net rating, one of these stats that measures basically everything, says Duke is the best team in college basketball in the last 20 years, according to stats. They got a big dude who patrols the middle. And I swear this is silly, but to me, he looks like Joel Embiid defensively. It's like, you're not scoring on me. They got size. They got shooters. The kid Proctor's awesome. And when Cooper Flagg comes back, my daughter actually texted me, Dad, is the Duke player injured? Because all like the boys in her 6th grade class are asking. So, hey, what does your dad think about Duke and Cooper Flagg? Guys, I'm just telling you, Cooper Flagg can't miss. And I don't like that can't miss label.
He's Jason Tatum. He does everything well. He may not be amazing at one thing. He is B+, A- at every part of the game.
If he goes to the Bulls or the Wizards or whatever, he's going to be a 20-8 guy as a rookie. I'm not kidding. He's that good.
Yeah.
And he could do pretty much everything. Handle, defense.
John Shire has done a very good job. Generally, when the legend retires and they hire somebody connected to the program, it almost never works.
Usually, yeah.
And Shire has been, now he's an unbelievable recruiter, and Duke's got a lot of money for NIL. But when you watch Duke play, it's like J.J. Redick with the Lakers. You can see what they're trying to do. They're a well-coached team.
Imprint is on the program. So the last 2 losses that they had that were tough were to Tennessee in the tournament. They kind of got punked by Tennessee a few years ago. And then last year, NC State just bodied them inside. I don't think that happens this year with the size they have. The only team that could is Alabama, and they don't play great defense. Yeah. So, Colin, I'm looking up and down the bracket. I'm sorry, Wisconsin. They're not meeting Duke in the Elite Eight. So who is it? Your Arizona Wildcats?
Yes, a lot of veteran point guard.
You like them. You like the chucker they got in the backcourt from UNC. I just don't see Duke getting touched. Now, Duke Houston in the Final Four or Duke Tennessee, that's a hell of a game. But if you're asking me for a lock for the Final Four, I think it's got to be Duke.